And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. The Supreme Court has officially taken a stance on copyright protection for photographers, even if they're going toe-to-toe with famous artists. The court ruled against the estate of the late, great, and legendary artist Andy Warhol, determining he infringed on a photo of singer Prince taken by photographer Lynn Goldsmith. The heart of the issue was whether Warhol's art was transformative enough from the original source material. The decision means artists can't just take a still photographer's work and paint it and call it something completely new. Let's talk about it. Attorney Oliver Brown is here, photographer Vicky Pink, artist Kid Styles, and Frankie Cardona, also an artist. So, Oliver, what does this mean? This is a big deal in the art world.
Yeah, I believe it's a big deal in the art and photography world. What this case is doing is it's changing the definition of fair use, or further refining it. There was a case called Campbell, and they relied heavily on that in their decision to distinguish this one. Andy Warhol basically the foundation received notice from the original photographer and said, hey, you're infringing on my rights. So Andy Warhol Foundation took them to court to say, no, we did not infringe. Well, as you see now, the Supreme Court has ruled against him. And what the court is now saying is that you can't simply just take one picture and then reprint it in a different manner.
Or paint it.
Or paint it, yeah. Or use silk screen as what they used here and just kind of change the color and then call it fair use. That you had to follow more under this like parody exception, or you have to severely alter the original in order for you to get some type of fair use protection out of it.
And of course, for Oliver, let's take a look at this situation to break it down to the viewer so they can know what we're talking about. There are pictures of Tupac, there are pictures of Biggie Smalls, but those pictures were taken by someone, then artists paint them, put them on t-shirts, and sell them.
Yes,
and that's where you have a problem.
Yes, and a lot of this case was about commercial use. For people that are doing, they said that there would be distinguishing marks for artists that are doing it just for non-profit or pure entertainment or something of that nature. But this was a commercialized case where they were basically taking this lady's picture and then trying to license it for $10,000, and she wasn't getting any of the profits from it. And if you go look at in the case, they actually used the original picture versus the actual painting. There is no change except for color.
Right.
So, and now you're trying to use it for commercial use.
It's not transformative, is what they call it.
Exactly, transformative. I believe, though, that the court got it right in order to protect these small photographers that are out here.
And Vicky, that's where you come in. You're a still photographer. Is it always tough monitoring your work to make sure no one is profiting off of it without giving you any compensation for that?
Right, and I understand that once you take the picture, that's your copyright, you know, that image belongs to you. But there are many times, even if you put a watermark on a picture, there are so many times you see your picture all over the place. And it's like, how do you stop people from just taking your work and using it however you want to? So when there's a ruling like this, and especially for a commercial, and when they're using it in a magazine, I think it's a good idea that, you know, in this case, she gets compensated for her work.
And Frankie, are you ever at all concerned about, you know, using source material to create your art?
Yeah, for sure, because, you know.
And do you try to avoid that?
Yeah, sometimes, because I still like, you know, I still need to understand certain, you know, laws when it comes to stuff like that. And, you know, photographers are artists themselves, so you got to respect their, you know, they're just doing it with a different medium, with the camera and things like that. So yeah, I still, you know, respect them as artists and things like that. So it is like, you know, how, me as a painter, you know, taking a photo from you know, that a photographer took, you know, and making it my style, like, it's hard. It's a fine line, you know.
And they would the courts would call that transformative.
Exactly.
But if you're creating something totally new.
Exactly.
But if it's like what we saw with Prince and Andy Warhol, it was just adding color to it.
That's all
right.
it was. It was reversing.
Now, and I don't know, I'm not sure if, from what I read, I wasn't sure if they got permission from the artist to use it as a reference. Using that photo as a reference.
Well, it continued on.
Yeah.
The life continued on after Andy Warhol.
And Andy Warhol did not have permission for the original 13 prints. it was technically like Newsweek and Vanity Fair had this license, and then Andy Warhol was like a subcontractor of it. So it got really convoluted on there. So I believe that artists still have, that even that are inspired by other, say, photographers' work, are going to be protected. And there's a lot of legal scholars that are now saying that this is just going to open up greater litigation, especially with the advent of AI and things of that nature.
And really quick, Kit Styles, are you concerned about this in the last 30 seconds? We'll continue to talk about it in a second, but go ahead.
Yes, I am concerned because I get hired by a lot of people to actually paint, you know, in memory, rest in peace paintings and things like that. So it's really a deep issue because I handle a whole lot of that, but at the same time I'm a natural artist, so I create and try to put the little tweaks and change up, you know, put my own style. So sometimes it's not actually the whole, you know, exact photo that I'm trying to reproduce. I'm kind of putting my own look to it. So
And Oliver, that's what we talked about, you know. Artists are given still photos saying, paint my family.
Yes.
And really quick, I'm sorry, Sonora, but like if you take a picture at a wedding, you still own that picture.
Yes.
Unless they sign the documentation saying, I give my rights over to them.
Right.
You are still the owner, really quick.
And most photographers are not going to give over their rights of usage, you know, totally. It's usually a limited use of rights, because in this case with Andy Warhol, it was a one-time use with Condé Nast for the picture, but they used
We'll be right back. Thank you, Vicki. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We just heard how a copyright infringement case could impact artists and you out there as well. It comes after the Supreme Court sided with a photographer whose photo of Prince inspired artwork by Andy Warhol. Is there any workaround to any potential problems this could cause? We continue this discussion with our guests. Joining us now, new to the group, Carolyn Casey and Gonzo247. So Gonzo, first of all, obviously you've been doing this for decades, one of the most well-known artists here in Houston. How do you avoid this?
You know, a lot of times, especially if it's something that's client-driven, you know, sometimes they'll provide you with some images. A lot of times they'll have the rights to it because they hired the photographer. But if it's something I'm doing in my studio, a lot of times, you know, it's just whatever's coming out of my head. But there's times when you, like, if you don't know what a Mack truck looks like, you got to look it up so you can make it all proportional. But it's just finding the right line of not taking too much from resource material.
And Carolyn, you're right there by his side. You know the law, you know legal issues when it comes to art. What would be your best advice to artists out there to stay out of trouble when it comes to copyright infringement?
Ask permission. Ask for permission. That's really just common courtesy. Just do your research. You know, we live in a fast-paced environment. I know everyone's trying to get a gig done or an art piece done or please a client. But I think the best advice is just to do your research and ask permission. You know, even Gonzo, you know, it also goes the other way around, where a photographer might take a photo of your artworks, and you know, the photographer should also ask permission to use that piece. So it goes both ways. I think that's the best advice I can
And Oliver, that would be the artist's intellectual property, right?
Yes. Right.
If they paint a picture. So, Gonzo, you gonna sue some people? Especially for that Houston is inspired sign. That is everywhere.
We've had photographers take photos, literally straight shots of my walls, and then sell them as prints, but they're like, it's my photo, but the content is my art.
Right.
So that's the fine line there.
In the case of Andy Warhol, in this case, really it's it was a limited term license, and the beauty of license agreements is that you can make them whatever you want. The artist can also negotiate, you know, make them limited or forever, perpetual, basically. And in this case, it was limited. So as much of as an Andy Warhol fan I am, it was pretty clear that it was for one-time use. And we have agreements. Actually, we do agreements on, you know, a lot of agreements where we negotiate those terms, and it's either one-time use or several times or for a year, you know, limited term. And that's what I love about license agreements, is that you can actually negotiate the terms into what where it's beneficial to the artist, and it's also beneficial to
Smart
the people
move, Oliver, as an attorney.
Absolutely. And like Gonzo said here, the art that he's responsible. I've seen those pictures where people have taken them and took pictures. Now to sit next to the person, I'm like, hey man, you need a lawyer? But no, it's absolutely
Let's do
right.
everybody, Gonzo, and give me my cut too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carolyn, really quick.
But the beauty is that a lot of people have come to him for permission. So on the flip side, on a positive note, a lot of people have come to him on the flip side, and he's like, yes, I'm honored, and I don't need anything for this. Not that I'm giving a blanket statement for this on TV right now, but you know, just common courtesy and just ask permission and just go there. You know?
And Frankie, really quick, have people asked for permission from your work, or they just take it?
Yeah, actually they have. Right now, I have to actually send an email out, answer this email about having somebody use my photo for a documentary. So yeah.
Cool.
And really, Kid Styles, have you had permission, or they just take
I've
it?
had, and at the same time, I've had the opposite also. So it's this thing that I really would want to go deeper in as far as like what she's talking about. But yeah, I've had both.
All right.
You know, the respect level of it as well as the.
If you need guidance artists out there, find Carolyn, and then also Oliver. He's gonna cost you a pretty penny. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.